All right, let's dive right in. We're on the absolutely sun-drenched coast of modern-day Turkey, looking at the ruins of an ancient city called Myra. And you can see these magnificent tombs just carved straight into the sheer rock cliffs. I mean, what an incredible display of history. But Myra's greatest story isn't just about ancient power or amazing architecture.
Because, believe it or not, hidden in the history of this ancient Lycian city is the origin of a global legend. A figure so famous, we usually think of him surrounded by snow and reindeer. So, how in the world did a story that ends at the North Pole begin right here, in the heart of the Mediterranean? Well, let's find out.
So let's start with the city's most breathtaking feature, its necropolis. And look, this wasn't just a graveyard tucked away somewhere. It was a statement. An entire city for the dead, carved directly into the cliffsides, literally overlooking the city of the living.
See, for the Lycians, death wasn't something to be hidden away. They actually crafted these tombs to look like their own distinctive wooden houses. The idea was to make sure their ancestors held a permanent, prominent place in the city's landscape. It's such a powerful concept, right? The honored dead forever watching over the generations that followed.
And what's really fascinating is the urban planning here. Myra didn't just have one necropolis, it had two. You had the river necropolis and the sea necropolis, and they were strategically placed on either side of the ancient city. It must have created this truly unique and totally awe-inspiring landscape.
Now, while today we just see bare stone, you have to try and imagine them as they once were. This quote here is from a 19th century explorer, Charles Fellows, describing the famous painted tomb. He could still see these brilliant reds, yellows, blues, and purples. These tombs were once just bursting with color and featured life-size carvings of people. It gives us this kind of ghostly glimpse of their original splendor.
Okay, so we've seen how Myra honored its dead, but what about the living? Let's move into the bustling heart of the city, because Myra wasn't just visually stunning, it was, for all intents and purposes, a regional superpower.
And nothing shows off that power better than its massive Roman theater. 10,000 seats. Just think about that for a second. This was one of the largest and most impressive theaters in all of Lycia, which made Myra a huge cultural and social hub that would have drawn massive crowds from all over the region.
And this is a perfect illustration of how the theater was so much more than just an entertainment venue. The stage building itself was decorated with these incredibly intricate carvings, including these amazing theater masks and scenes straight out of mythology. It was like a public canvas for their beliefs, their stories, and their whole identity.
So here's the crucial point. Myra's cultural importance, which was fueled by its strategic spot as a major port, was perfectly matched by its political might. In the Lycian League, which was this kind of ancient democratic federation, Myra was one of only 6 cities to hold the maximum of 3 votes. It was a political heavyweight, a city whose voice literally shaped the destiny of the entire region.
Okay, so we've seen a city of powerful ancestors and grand performances. But in the 4th century, Myra's identity started to change, and it was all because of one man. And this, right here, is where we uncover the secret that connects this ancient city directly to Christmas. That man was Nicholas, the Christian bishop of Myra, and yes, I mean that Nicholas. The historical figure who would eventually become the legend of Santa Claus wasn't from the North Pole, he was from right here. Myra was his home, and his story is woven into the very fabric of this city.
This timeline really grounds the legend in reality. Nicholas was born in the nearby city of Patara, but it was right here in Myra that he served as bishop. He became famous for his secret gift-giving and for protecting the vulnerable. And when he died, he was buried right here, in his own city.
After his death, his reputation just exploded. It grew so immense that a church was built over his tomb. And just like that, Myra, once a center for worshiping the goddess Artemis, transformed into one of the most important pilgrimage sites in the entire Christian world. For hundreds of years, the faithful travel here to honor the memory of the generous bishop.
For over 700 years, the remains of St. Nicholas rested peacefully in Myra. But the city's fortunes were about to take a serious downturn, leading to one of the most audacious heists in religious history.
By the 11th century, the great city of Myra was, it was in decline. It had been battered by earthquakes, its port was silting up, and it was vulnerable to constant raids. The once mighty metropolis was really just a shadow of its former self, and its most precious treasure, the relics of St. Nicholas, was pretty poorly defended.
And then, in 1087, sailors from Bari, Italy,
saw their chance. They sailed to Myra, pushed right past the few monks who were guarding the church, and they broke open the sarcophagus. They gathered up the saints' bones and spirited them away to Italy, where they still are to this day. And just like that, the physical presence of Myra's most famous resident was gone.
So after all this incredible history of Lycian ancestors, Roman power, a world-famous saint, and a dramatic theft, what's actually left of Myra? And why does its story still echo today?
Well, what's left is this stunning archaeological site that's basically a time capsule. When you walk through Myra, you are literally walking through distinct layers of history. You can see the artistry of the Lycians, the civic grandeur of the Romans, and the deep faith of the Byzantines, all in one place.
So, to sum it all up, Myra is this incredible intersection of history. It's home to some of the most spectacular rock tombs ever built. It's the site of a massive Roman theater. And most famously, it is the original home of St. Nicholas. I mean, this place is so significant that it's on the UNESCO World Heritage tentative list.
Ultimately, the story of Myra is just a powerful reminder that our greatest legends are often rooted in real places and real history. The global story of Santa Claus doesn't start in a fairy tale workshop. It starts here, in the ruins of an ancient city in Turkey. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other epic stories are just waiting to be discovered in the places we see every single day?